Hello, my dear children, and welcome back. I know, exams are just around the corner. But please, tension mat lo. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most interesting and yes, very important chapters. Together, let's get you absolutely ready to score full marks.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. Have a look at the mobile phone you're probably holding in your hand right now. Have you ever, for a second, thought about what's actually inside it? It's full of minerals, things that are dug out from the earth. And the fight over who gets those minerals, well, that's a huge, huge part of global politics. This chapter is all about connecting the dots between the health of our planet and these big power struggles. So let's break it all down, nice and simple.
All right, so first things first. To put it simply, our planet has a high fever. And this isn't some simple cold, It's a really serious condition, and it's caused by a whole bunch of problems. So let's play doctor and diagnose the symptoms one by one.
And the list of symptoms, oh my God, it's long and it's pretty worrying. Our farmland where we grow our food is losing its power, our beautiful forests are shrinking, the oceans are being overfished, our water is getting polluted, and you've all heard of this one. The ozone layer, our planet's protective shield, actually has a hole in it. Any one of these is a massive crisis by itself.
But, these are just facts. What about the people? What's the human cost of all this? Look at this number, 663 million. Just let that sink in. That's the number of people, mostly in developing countries, who don't have access to safe drinking water. Can you even imagine that? That's almost half the population of our entire country, of India.
And the result of that unsafe water and lack of proper sanitation, it's just heartbreaking. Over 3 million children die because of it, every single year. This is a real-world tragedy, and it's directly linked to the health of our environment. And look, this isn't some theory from a textbook, Beta. This is real life with real consequences. Take the Aral Sea. It used to be this huge, massive lake full of life. But then, the rivers that fed it were diverted for farming. And slowly, it started to shrink and shrink until it almost completely dried up. An entire fishing industry, gone. And thousands of people had to leave their homes. They became what we call environmental refugees. It's a truly sad story.
So, the situation is bad, right? The world's in trouble. So what did everyone do? Well, you could say they decided to have a big global family meeting. After the Big Earth Summit in Rio back in 1992, all the countries started to come together to try and figure out, okay, how do we fix this mess?
Now, to understand their discussions, there's a very important idea you have to know. It's called the global commons. Now, it's actually a pretty simple idea. It just means that some parts of our world are so important that no single country can say, hey, this is mine. They belong to all of us, to humanity.
So what are we talking about here? Well, think about the atmosphere, the air that we all breathe, or the huge continent of Antarctica, the deep, deep ocean floor, and even outer space. These are the global commons. The best way to remember this, and this is a great example for your exam, is to think of the terrace in your apartment building. Does it belong to just one family? No, of course not. Everyone uses it, so everyone is responsible for keeping it clean. It's the exact same logic, just on a planetary scale.
Okay, so stick with that terrace example. If the terrace gets dirty, who should clean it up? The person who made the mess, right? Simple? Well, this is exactly where the global politics, the big blame game, begins.
So you basically have two sides, right? On one side, there's the global north, the rich, developed countries. And they're saying, hey, it's one planet, it's everyone's problem now, so everyone should share the responsibility equally. But then, the global south, that's developing countries like us, India, we have a very strong reply. We say, hold on a second. You guys polluted for centuries to build your industries and get rich. You created most of this mess in the first place, so you have a bigger responsibility to clean it up. Make sense, no?
And this big argument led to a solution, a very important principle. And I'm telling you, children, please remember this phrase for your exam. It's common but differentiated responsibilities. It's a bit of a mouthful, I know, but the idea is simple. Yes, we all have a common responsibility to protect our Earth, but that responsibility is differentiated. It's different for different countries. The ones who polluted more in the past have a greater responsibility to lead the cleanup effort now.
And you know what? Your textbook has this absolutely brilliant cartoon that makes this idea click instantly. It connects this global principle to something we know very well in India, the reservation policy. Why? Because both ideas are based on the same logic, that historical disadvantage means you need to give some special responsibility or support today. It's a fantastic way to remember this.
Okay, so that's the global picture. Now let's bring it home. In this whole debate, what is India's stand? Now everyone, please pay very, very close attention. This is a super important question for your board exams.
See this? I'm not kidding. This is your classic 5-mark question. I can almost guarantee you will see something like this on your paper. So, what's the perfect answer? I'm literally giving it to you on the next slide. So, get your notebooks ready. Let's do this.
Okay, here it is, your golden answer for full marks. Just write these points down. First, India insists on historical responsibility. You polluted first, you lead the cleanup. Simple. Second, our per capita emission, which means how much pollution one single person in India creates, it's tiny compared to a person in the developed world. Third, and this is very important, our #1 priority is still economic and social development. We have to lift our people out of poverty. But, and this is your crucial fourth point, that doesn't mean we're doing nothing. We are still doing our part. You must mention things like our national auto fuel policy, the Energy Conservation Act, and our commitment to the Paris Agreement. Write these points, and you are all set.
Now, remember that point about development being our priority? Well, what does development need? It needs resources, right? Water, fuel, minerals, the whole lot. And that, my dear students, brings us to the next big fight. The environment isn't just about pollution, it's also about who controls the stuff we need to grow. And that fight is becoming more and more intense.
The fancy term for this is resource geopolitics. Sounds heavy, I know, but all it really means is the politics of resources. Who gets what, when, and how? Who controls the oil? Who controls the river water? These questions are at the heart of so many global conflicts.
Just take oil, for example, the black gold that runs our world. Look at this. Almost 2/3, 64% of all the known oil in the world is just in one small area, the Gulf region. Now do you understand why there's so much politics and conflict and international attention on that part of the world? It all comes down to controlling that resource.
And you know what's really scary? It's not just about oil anymore. Many experts now believe that the next big conflicts in the world might be fought over water wars, fights over rivers and access to clean, fresh water, because it's becoming so precious.
But wait, it's not all doom and gloom and governments fighting. The real power sometimes is with the people, with us. Just think about the powerful movements we've seen right here in India. You must have heard of the Narmada Bachao Andolan, right? A huge movement against the building of a large dam. These movements prove that the voice of ordinary people really matters. So, as we wrap this up, let's bring it all the way back to you. The chapter ends with a question for you, a personal one. The book asks you to think about 10 things you use every single day. So just think about your day. What is just one simple, small thing you could change in your life to help our planet? Just one. Think about it. All right, my dear children, that's it for today. Study well and all the very best for your exams. You are all going to do wonderfully.